I've watched developers spend 4 hours debugging code they didn't write, didn't review, and don't understand because the AI looked confident and they didn't want to slow down. That's not vibe coding. That's tech debt with a chatbot interface. There's a different way to use these tools, one where you actually move faster and you're still in control. And by the end of this video, you'll have a complete system for it: setup, props, workflow, and something most developers don't even know is possible yet: running multiple AI agents simultaneously on the same codebase. That's what this video is. A few months ago, someone posted a tweet that went viral in developer circles. Something like, "I don't write code anymore, I just describe what I want and the AI builds it." The replies were 50-50. Half the developers thought it was genius. The other half were furious. And here's the thing. Both groups were right, and both groups were missing the point. And underneath that whole debate, there's a question nobody's saying out loud. If the AI can write the code, what exactly am I still here for? That question is worth answering, and the answer is the whole video. The furious ones were right that there's a real danger here. We're seeing it in production right now. Code bases that nobody on the team actually understands. Security holes that passed every AI review because the AI was never told what to look for. Systems that work in the demo and collapse under real load. But the excited ones were also right that something genuinely changed. The pace at which you can move when you know what you're doing is legitimately different now. So here's what this video is: the exact system I use to get that speed without losing the thing that actually matters, which is engineering judgment. We're going to cover setup, prompts, workflow, and multi-agent patterns.
Let me ask you something. If you hired a new engineer today, smart, capable, fast, and on their first day you handed them a ticket with no context, no README, no architecture diagram, nothing, what would you expect to get back? Garbage. You get confident-sounding garbage. That's exactly what you're getting when you drop AI into a project with no context. The model doesn't know your codebase. It doesn't know your patterns. It doesn't know that you have a function that already does the thing it's about to reinvent from scratch. This is why code-based indexing is the single highest leverage thing you can do before you write a single prompt. In tools like Warp Code, Cursor, and Claude Code, there's a mechanism to ingest your entire project, not just the open file, but the relationships between files, the function signatures, the naming conventions, the data flow. When that index exists, the AI stops guessing and starts reasoning about your actual system. Here's the practical step. Before you start a new feature or a new conversation with the AI, make sure it has been told explicitly what it's working in. Point it at the entry points. Point it at the relevant modules. Don't assume it knows. It doesn't. And this isn't a one-time setup. When the codebase changes significantly, the index needs to update. Treat it like a migration, not a config file you set once and forget. Now, beyond just knowing the code, you want the AI to know how you work. And there are two levels to this. Global rules are the things that are true about you regardless of which project you're in. What language you prefer for comments, which testing framework you always reach for, whether you want the AI to ask clarifying questions before writing or just write and explain after. These go at the user level and whatever tool you're using. Project rules are different. These are project-specific conventions: your stack, your schema, the specific libraries you've chosen and why, the patterns you've adopted for this codebase specifically. These go in a project-level config, a .cursorrules file, a Claude.md, a system prompt at the project level, whatever your tool supports. Here's what a rules file that actually works looks like. 3 lines. This is a Next.js 14 app using the app router. All database access goes through the repository layer in /src/lib/db. Never use any in TypeScript. That's it. That's worth 10 minutes of prompting saved in every single session. And here's where most developers stop. They set the top-level project rules and call it done. But if you have submodules, a front-end, a back-end, a shared library, each of those can have their own rules file. Your React component folder has different conventions than your API layer. Tell the AI that. The mental model is global rules are your engineering philosophy. Project rules are the map of this specific territory. Both need to exist for the AI to be useful rather than just fast. I'm going to say something that's going to annoy some people. Prompt quality is a real skill, and most developers are bad at it. Not because they're not smart, but because they've been trained by Google. You type 3 words into Google and it figures out what you meant. AI models are different. They take you literally. They fill in the gaps with whatever seems most likely, and most likely is not the same as correct. Here's an example. Bad prompt. Add a toggle button to the settings page. What does the AI do? It picks a UI library you're not using. It puts the toggle in the wrong place. It doesn't know the toggle needs to persist to the database. It doesn't know there's already a toggle button component in your design system. You get code that looks right and fits nowhere. Good prompt. Add a toggle to the notification section of /source/pages/settings.tsx. Use the toggle switch component from @components/UI. The state should persist using the use user preferences hook already in the codebase. When enabled, it should call api.notifications.enable. When disabled, api.notifications.disable. Follow the same pattern as the dark mode toggle already on line 87. Same task, completely different result. So what makes the second prompt work? It has 4 elements, and you can use these as a template every time. 1. Specificity of location. Where exactly in the code, file path, component name, line number if you know it. 2. Reference files. What already exists that this needs to follow or use? Don't make the AI invent conventions. Point it at the ones you already have. 3. Behavioral requirements. What does this thing need to actually do? Not how, what. 4. Visual context when relevant. If you have a design file, a screenshot, a Figma frame, drop it in. Models that accept images will use that visual anchor and stop guessing what you mean by notification section. One more thing on prompts. Keep conversations short and focused. Every message in a conversation window builds context. A long, wandering conversation where you jump from feature to feature is a context soup that degrades the quality of every response. One conversation per task. Close it when you're done. Quick practical note on models, and this one actually has a dollar cost if you get it wrong. Don't use autopick. I know it sounds like the smart, lazy option, but routing to the cheapest available model mid-conversation when you're doing something complex is how you get inconsistent results that are hard to debug and expensive to fix. Here's the split that works. Use your most capable model for planning, architecture decisions, and anything where a wrong turn costs you time. Use a faster, cheaper model for boilerplate generation, renaming, and repetitive transformations. The expensive model is for thinking, the cheaper model is for typing. And do not switch models in the middle of a conversation. Start a new one. This sounds like overhead, it takes 10 seconds. It will save you hours of why did it suddenly get worse halfway through.
This is where that question from the beginning, what am I still here for, actually gets answered in practice. Here is the most common mistake I see developers make with AI. They give it a task and ask it to write code immediately, before any planning, before any architectural discussion, and the AI does it. That's the problem. It will always do it. It will write you a complete implementation of the wrong thing with perfect confidence. The discipline is this. Before you ask for a single line of code, ask for a plan. Literally say, before writing any code, give me a detailed plan for how you would implement this. What files will you touch? What new components will you create? What functions will you modify? What edge cases do you see? Then read the plan. This is where your engineering judgment lives. This is where you catch the approach that would work in isolation but creates a circular dependency. This is where you notice it missed that the feature needs to be backward compatible with users who haven't migrated yet. You constrain the plan. You add the constraints it missed. You ask, what happens if the API call fails midway? You ask, is there a simpler approach? You push back. Only after that do you say, okay, now implement step 1. Not the whole thing, step 1. Let's talk about the mindset shift that actually matters here, because this is where vibe coding diverges from real engineering. When AI writes code, your job is not to accept it. Your job is to review it as if it came from a capable junior engineer who sometimes misses context and occasionally makes architectural decisions above their pay grade. That means read the diff before you commit it, always. Ask the why. Why did you use a class component here instead of a function? Why are you fetching this data in the component instead of at the route level? Not because you're testing the AI, but because if it can't explain the decision in a way that makes sense, that's a signal the decision might be wrong. And here's a pattern that works really well. Write the skeleton yourself, the interface, the types, the function signatures, then let the AI fill in the implementation, then review the implementation. Then, if it needs cleanup, ask the AI to refactor, but you already understand the shape of what's there. You stay in control. The AI does the lifting. That's pair programming. That's not delegation. Okay, this is what I promised you at the start. And this is where things get genuinely fast. If you're only ever running one AI agent at a time, you're leaving most of the speed on the table. Modern tools support running multiple AIs simultaneously on separate tasks in parallel. The way to do this safely, and safety matters here, is through Git worktrees or separate checkouts. Each agent gets its own branch, its own working directory, its own context window. They cannot step on each other. So while Agent A is building the authentication flow, Agent B is writing the data migration, and Agent C is updating the tests for the module you finished yesterday. Independently, in parallel. The key word there is independent. These tasks cannot have overlapping file dependencies. If two agents are both trying to modify the same file, you've created a merge conflict factory. Plan your parallel work the same way you'd plan parallel sprint tasks. Clear boundaries, minimal overlap. Parallel agents are useful, but honestly, parallel is the less interesting pattern. The one that changed how I think about code quality entirely is sequential. And the reason it works is almost counterintuitive. I'll show you right now. This is the pipeline pattern, and for anything where quality matters more than raw speed, this is the one worth understanding deeply. Agent 1 writes the implementation. Agent 2, in a fresh context window with no knowledge of how Agent 1 solved it, reviews the code for bugs, security issues, and architectural problems. Agent 3 writes the tests, and here's the key, against the spec, not the implementation. If Agent 3's tests pass, the implementation is probably correct. If they fail, Agent 1 made an assumption that wasn't in the requirements. Think about what that means. You've just reproduced the most expensive part of a code review process, independent verification, and you've done it without another human and without a meeting. That's not just faster, that's a qualitatively different kind of confidence in what you're shipping. And at every handoff, the human is in the loop. You are the tech lead of this pipeline. You review what Agent 1 produced before handing it to Agent 2. You read Agent 2's review before deciding whether to fix or move on. You are not out of the loop, you are managing the loop.
There are moments when the right move is to close every AI tool and go back to basics. Know what those moments look like. The first sign, you've lost the thread. You can't explain what the current state of the code is anymore. You're not sure if the AI's last change actually worked or just looks like it worked. That's a red flag. The second sign, you're in a debugging loop. You gave the AI an error, it gave you a fix, the fix introduced a new error, you gave it that error, it gave you another fix, and now you're 4 layers deep in changes you didn't author and don't fully understand. In both cases, stop. Revert to your last known working checkpoint. That's what Git is for. Revert, take 5 minutes to understand the actual state of the system, and then re-engage with a fresh prompt and a clear head. The AI does not get frustrated when you start over. You will. There's one use case I want to leave you with, because it's underrated and immediately actionable. When you get dropped into an unfamiliar codebase, legacy system, open source repo, inherited project, don't start reading files. Start by feeding the AI the entry points and asking it to explain the architecture before you touch anything. Walk me through how a request flows from the API endpoint to the database in this codebase. What you get back is not documentation. It's a structured mental model built from the actual code in under 2 minutes. That's onboarding on demand. Use it before your first PR on any new system. Here's the thing that I think gets lost in the vibe coding debate. AI doesn't replace your engineering judgment. It amplifies it. If your judgment is weak, AI makes you faster at producing weak code. If your judgment is strong, AI makes you faster at producing good code. Which means the thing you actually have to protect isn't your syntax, it's your ability to think. The developers who are going to matter in the next 5 years are not the ones who can prompt the fastest. They're the ones who can think clearly enough to know what to ask for, review carefully enough to know what to ship, and step in decisively when the AI hits the edge of its understanding. That's the actual skill, and it's a real one. If you want to see this exact mindset in practice, one task, AI as Copilot, real output in real time, I just published a video where I built a full AI dashboard in Python with Flet, timer running, no cuts. It's right up there.